Michelle, welcome to Profit is Protest. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here and connecting with my good old friend Shaneh. So happy.
Well, it was such a cool, I don't know, progression of events. Like we met 2018, 2019,
Back in the old days. That's when we
pre-COVID,
met.
pre-COVID, right?
Yes, absolutely. Well, pre-COVID, yeah.
And that seems like even further away than, just 7
The
years.
1900s. No.
Exactly. So pre-COVID, and we've of course followed each other on social media, but life lifed, and so we hadn't spoken in 4 or 5 years.
A good while. Yeah.
Yeah. What I love about you is that we are in the same industry and hold a lot of the same philosophies because in general, our industry not very progressive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, it was a little bit of a shock to me. And I guess we'll talk about an organization in a minute, but we were put into sort of like these accountability groups. And,
Mhm.
I'm in Los Angeles, California, like liberal capital of the country, right?
Right.
And we were put into these accountability groups, and everybody was in California. I think there was one Arizonan and everybody was Californian. And I sort of expected we all had the same sort of philosophies. And over time, I realized that that wasn't the case.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I'm naive and thinking whatever I think and realized, oh, yeah, accounting as a profession, it sort of lends itself to um, more conservative, especially fiscally conservative points of view for sure.
Sure. And I don't actually think there's anything wrong with being fiscally conservative, right? I
Right.
do think I do think our training tends to train us into a scarcity mindset.
Mm, okay.
And I tend to believe that like my money mindset impacts my client's money because I'm the one touching that money. And to me, that's energy. So I'm playing with that energy. And if I am in this deeply scarcity minded place where I'm very fearful of what's happening in the world and feeling like I have to protect, it impacts their business because the
Right.
advice I give comes from that lens.
Right.
So I think every bookkeeper, every accountant would do their clients a service if they worked on their own money mindset.
Oh, yeah, certainly, certainly. And um, I probably could work with you. Meaning, I could probably be your client. It's so funny, it's like people talk about like nurses who don't take care of their health. And I always say the cobbler with bad shoes and things like
Mhm.
that, even though that's such an old-timey term. But I definitely run this roller coaster of financial fitness myself, which I definitely like. It's funny, like you do need, I don't know, I'm probably exhausting all these examples, but I remember once there was like some like a who was the thing and blah blah blah. And it was like one barber had a super clean barber shop. A man goes into a town and one barber has a super clean barber shop and the other barber is unkempt and he has like a messy barber shop. And the guy goes to that one with the thought that, well, he's unkempt because the other barber isn't cutting his hair. He's unkempt. He has hair on the floor because he's cutting everybody's in the town's hair. And I think that's the thing. Like, sometimes we can look good on the surface, but there's a lot of stuff not happening in the background. And yeah, I could certainly benefit from improving my own mindset around money. I think that was the point of that.
Well, let me be clear. I work with a money coach, right?
Yeah,
Like I
for
don't
sure.
think I'm at a pinnacle of
Mhm.
purity when it comes to
Yeah.
money mindset. But I do believe that those of us that work with other people's money would our advice, our tools, our tactics would be infinitely more impactful if we start with fixing our own money mindset.
Oh, certainly. And that's for all areas of coaching, like I realize I did not do this intentionally, but I'm like drinking out of this cup. And the strawberry.me is a coaching platform that I work for.
I love it.
And it primarily centers around career coaching. But
Mhm.
like there's a thing that we say in the coaching profession, and I know we're coming from a lens of accounting, but I'm also a certified
Oh,
coach.
both.
And
Absolutely.
And a big thing is we coach ourselves. Like we coach ourselves 10 years ago.
Mhm.
And everything from, like, I center a lot of my stuff around self-compassion and embracing our imperfections and becoming tolerant of uncertainty and burnout and things like that. And that's certainly a place you kind of, in one sense, your biases can uh, become obstacles in your coaching, but in other cases, that's what makes you relatable, or that's what
Mhm.
makes you able to have more empathy and relate to your clients.
Yep.
So certainly, I know nobody's perfect when it comes to money, and the system is broken. Like, let's not,
The system
the
is
system is
absolutely
broken.
broken. That's why we're talking today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So April of last year, I was feeling stuck in my own world. I had this hope that in November, when he who shall not be named was elected, that something would happen between election day and inauguration day that would fix it, right? Like, and I knew it was a foolish hope. I knew it was naive. I knew the likelihood was less than 1%. And there was a part of me just waiting. Obviously, that didn't happen. So from inauguration day till this thing that happened to me in April, I was truly stuck. I was
Mm.
stuck in my feelings. I was stuck in my business. My relationships felt weird. I didn't know how to coach my clients through their own pain and rage over what was going on. Um, and everybody that I was coming in contact with was really scared, terrified about what was going on in the world, and didn't feel like they could, for my business owners, promote their businesses in the way that they normally would, because it was like, read the room. You don't
Mhm.
go and talk about, hey, I'm a great bookkeeper, or I'm a great accountant, or I'm a great coach when the world is burning down around you, right? Is the way we all felt.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I know that when I'm stuck, the first place I look is, what of my own tools have I stopped using? Because we get
Okay.
complacent. And so I started working through some of my tools, and I felt it loosen a little bit. And I had this like epiphany. It's like, oh, I need to go deeper with my a money coach right now, because I hadn't worked directly with a money coach in probably 5 years.
Okay.
So I have this epiphany, and I'm going, okay, well, what money coach? Because I have several that I've worked with in the past. Do I want to reconnect with? And the morning I get up, so I've had the epiphany in the night, because I always have mine at 3 a.m. I get up, I open my email, and Ken Honda, the author of Happy Money, who I've worked with in the past in a group situation, is inviting me to a small 3-day retreat in Kyoto, Japan.
Okay.
And I was like, well, if that's not a sign. I've only been off the North American continent once in my life, at that point when I said yes to this. And it was terrifying, right? I know that Americans don't have a good reputation across the world. So there was a part of me that was scared that I would show up and people would just hate me for being an American. I was terrified of the language barrier, because Japan, right?
Yeah.
I don't speak Japanese. Like, it was a big leap. It was a
Mhm.
growth edge for me to say yes to it. But I did. And in April, I went, had an amazing experience, only got yelled at by one taxi driver. Um, but otherwise, everybody in Japan was incredibly kind. Uh, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
I come back from Japan, and it takes time to integrate what you've learned, what you've experienced. And I have a daily ritual of journaling. So I'm journaling about it and how I'm feeling and what's coming through. And I write in my journal, profit is my protest.
Okay. Okay.
And I
Okay.
went, oh, what does that mean? And then I start scribbling all the ways that what I think that means for me and for the world. Uh, so that was May 8th. May 9th, I launched the Substack and was like, I haven't shut up about profit is protest since.
Okay. Okay. What do you think it was about that trip? Like, so it's funny as you were talking about the trip, I started to write down, what did you learn? And then you said, I came back, I had to like integrate and process my learning. So yes, I hear that you were inspired, but what do you think was the big catalyst that like really sparked, like, especially the protest piece?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question, because we didn't talk about any sort of protest or activism in this retreat. One thing he did say, and he was talking about the way we protect our money or our IP or ourselves. And so he's a Zen master, on top of being Japan's #1 selling author ever. More
Oh,
books of
wow.
his copy have sold than any other Japanese author. Um, he said, if there's no defense, there's no attack. Right.
Okay.
So when he previously, earlier in his career, when he would get very protective of his IP, he would feel more and more attacked and would have to defend. But when he was just like, you know what? People are going to say Happy Money is their program, and they're going to use it, and they're going to have a
Mm,
great success with it. And it does not in any way diminish me or take away from my work. I'm fine with it. And so the instances of people trying to take his work or steal his IP or attack him, like, drop to nil. No
okay.
defense, no attack. So like that, when you ask me like this protest piece, I was in such a state of rage for so long that protest felt like rah, 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 get in people's faces, draw a hard line in the sand, protest, protest, protest. And don't get me wrong, I was at the No Kings rallies, right?
Mhm,
I
mhm.
will absolutely stay, because I do recognize I have as a white woman. Um,
Somehow I've been
you're here.
okay. I have something on my screen that says your recording's on the way, but I'm just gonna keep listening to you.
Yeah, we're still live. You're still here. Your camera went
Okay.
off for a second, so
Okay.
don't worry about it. Um, when I moved through the rage and I found just a grounded confidence that the system is broken, therefore we can't rely on the system. uh,
Right.
so we need to create a new system, and what might that look like? That's profit is protest.
Okay.
And for me, I feel that those of us that are kind, compassionate human beings who believe in the dignity of life and liberty and don't think anybody should be excluded from, anything.
Right. Right.
um, there are actually more of us than there are of them. And
Mhm.
business owners in general, at our level, small business owners, tend to be those type of people. Yes, I recognize that there are large corporation organizations and businesses that are not there protecting their almighty dollar, but there are more of us than them.
Yeah.
And so our protest against what's going on in the world, against the system that is broken, is being wildly profitable. Because
Okay.
power
Okay.
money is power, and
Mhm.
where we put our money speaks to what we value in the world.
Right. Right.
And I've done this as a values belief system for longer than this idea of profit as protest has been in my mind. Um, the organization that we met through, Profit First,
Mhm.
I love Profit First, the
Mhm.
methodology. I use it
Mhm.
with my clients. Um, when I've met and spoken with Mike Michalowicz, he seems like a great guy. And when the COVID hit and the George Floyd riots, right, all of that was going on. There weren't riots. I don't know why I said that, but George Floyd was murdered. Um, I was like, I was being looking at where I was spending my money and what people were doing in the world.
Right.
And I couldn't define Profit First as an organization, their values.
Mhm.
There was no statement on their website supporting LGBT or Black Lives Matter or just the fundamental rights of humanity.
Right.
When I asked the leadership about it, right, I'm like, I need to know that my dollars are going to an organization that shares my values. They wouldn't have the conversation with me. They told me it was inappropriate for me to ask.
That's
So
insane. That's insane.
So I'm not saying that they don't believe in those things because I don't know. But to me, especially at that inflection point in history, um, silence became complicity. If
Yeah.
you weren't
Yeah.
willing to stand up for the people that needed us to stand up and support them, then you were part of the problem.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I left the organization,
Mm. That's a
right?
big stand. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was before Profit is Protest.
Yeah.
So backing up to you and I reconnecting after 5 years,
Mhm.
we just decide to have a chat,
Uh-huh.
right? And
Yep.
we're catching up and you do what we all do. Tell me what you've been up to. That was my
Go ahead.
Oh, your camera went off again. Let's try. Don't know why
It's
it's
so I can't see you at all. I haven't been able to see you, and now it says Michele Roberts joined on my screen, so I'm trying to still look like
Okay, well, you are back. People can
okay,
see you. I can see you.
okay.
Um, I'm not sure, but we'll just keep rolling with
So,
it. I will
yeah,
have
you were
fire.
saying that, you told the story of, like, what happened with Profit First and how we and then you were saying and then we recently reconnected.
Yep. So you do what everybody does when you reconnect. Well, tell me what you've been up to. And my
Mhm.
favorite moment from our conversation was, well, I'm writing a book and it's coming out and it's called Profit is Protest. And you got it. You didn't go, what does profit is protest mean? You
Yeah.
said, oh, I have a story. Oh, but it's not business, so maybe it doesn't count. And I'm like, I'm sure it counts. Tell me the story.
Yep, I do have a story.
I would love for you to tell everybody the story because I think it demonstrates profit is protest in the wild.
Absolutely. So, our house was recently broken into on a Saturday afternoon, something like 1 in the afternoon. We've got, sliding glass doors in the back of our house, and somebody came in and just broke through the glass. Now, the good news is, they must have had some sort of lookout, and they decided to do this just as my husband was coming home, and so they left. Like, they didn't they it doesn't even look like they entered the house. They s smashed the glass and then took off, and our neighbor could see them, like, running out, running in, all the things. So, you know, good news, nothing was taken other than our sense of security, of course. So, as there's, these screens. So one of the things people don't want bars, bars make your house, I don't know, they're not attractive. So we never wanted to have like the old school iron security bars. And somebody told us about these screens. So there's a few companies that create these like high security mesh screens that just look like your regular screens, but you can bang at those things with a crowbar or whatever, and you can't get in. So who knew? So we start getting quotes, and we're looking at multiple companies, and we land on this one. Now, I don't want all of my decisions to be politically based, and not necessarily do we have conversations about politics as the sales guy is here, but we did sort of get some hints of things like just some of the things that he said while we like, again, we talked to three companies, we were sort of leaning towards one. So the guy made some references. He even said while he was here, "Oh yeah, I even had a customer that didn't want to go with me because of my politics, and I don't think that's the way everything's not to go." And I said, he goes on his merry way, does the measurements. We decide to go with him. And we were really having a hard time deciding because we actually, the company we had landed on two. the companies are largely the same. And there was like a small difference in the door handles that we like this one. So here, my husband and I were heading out of town. I was in the airport. I talked to the guy, let's call him Joe. That is not his name. But, I'm like, "Hey, Joe, I haven't received your estimate. We're ready to go." I'm in the airport on the phone with him, and he's like, "Oh, I'll send it to you right now." So he sends it to me. We're doing all this thing by phone, and I approve the estimate. I send the deposit with my American Express. And he's like, "Oh, yeah. Well, by the way, where are you going?" And I said, we're going to Portland. And he says, "Oh, watch out for Antifa." I was like, I can't believe this man said this to me. And I wish I could see your face right now, Dana. I'm just talking.
I'm rolling my eyes and shaking my head.
And I was just like, I don't even understand. And I said, "Oh, wow. Like that didn't sit well with me." And then he said, "Oh, wow. I'm sorry." I said, "I actually think anti-fascism is not a bad thing. I think we should all be against fascism." And so I say, "Okay, thank you. Talk to you later." I get off the phone and I look at my husband and I say, "Let me tell you what just happened." And I think I said a few more things. I said, "You got to know your audience, and you know that like 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris. Like, I'm definitely on a different side of the spectrum than you." And that was before I got off the phone.
Yeah.
And I said, like, this just doesn't sit well with me. Like, I know that the screens inherently aren't political, but I only have one way. Like you say, profit is protest. I have one way to really express what matters. And this is a powerful way. And let me tell you, these screens are expensive as heck. And so I called him back and said, and I could tell he knew that I didn't like it, and his energy shifted, and he knew he had made a mistake. I called him back and I said, "Look, Joe, this isn't going to work." And he's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said anything." And I said, "You know what? It's not just about saying it. It's about the things that you're believing. Like, Antifa is not even a thing. And what media are you watching that is having you at this place where I don't know what kind of misinformation and disinformation you're believing, but it really is important to sort of like understand, not just understand the room and to protect your business, but also understand that there are bigger issues at play." So I'm torn. Like, I definitely feel like I did the right thing, but I also don't know if the message he walked away from was, "Okay, that's the last time I talk about politics at work," when it's a bigger issue that like lives are at stake, ICE is still killing people, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my story.
I love that. Because first of all, the way it sounds like you responded wasn't like it wasn't with anger. It was like,
Right.
yeah, there's definitely issues that should not um be ignored. I'm curious about the media you're watching, the beliefs you're holding, right? You were kind and boundaried.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And that's it. Like, boundaries are only as good as what you're willing to enforce. So I could talk all day about, and that's where like I was a little upset with myself that I would move forward and had even hung up the phone and said thank you and then called him back. But I'm really proud or happy that I did call back. And and to his credit, he didn't try to do anything like, "Oh, well, once you put in the deposit, it's too late." I mean, of course, I would have called American Express and said, "Cancel that." But,
Right.
but we have few ways to express ourselves. I mean, we can run for office, we can speak out, but our dollars are very, very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because of the way capitalism and our society is set up, and I don't have a replacement for capitalism, right? Capitalism is the system we have, though it's being more used like cronyism or what they call late stage capitalism, because I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
capitalism as itself is bad personally. But I don't have a replacement for it. So that means money drives power. Okay,
Mhm.
great. If money drives my hands, when I use my money in a way that supports my values. Like I don't shop at Target anymore because they're going
Yeah,
to roll back their DEI program.
absolutely.
However, because deciding that not shopping at Target is aligned with their values, it really did start to hurt some incredible Black entrepreneurs who had gone all in with Target. So it's like, okay, I'm not shopping at Target. Where can I still shop and
Yeah.
support Black entrepreneurs, right? So it's like you got to weigh both sides of the equation.
I mean, so that is like more testament to how broken it is, though. And I don't have a replacement either.
Mhm.
I definitely think that there are major strides being made with like the DSA movement, Democratic Socialists of America movement.
Yep. I love
And
Mom Donnie.
yeah, right. I mean, he's definitely showing that things can get done, and despite all of the naysayers, right? And this idea that capitalism is being dismantled, or they try to like, I think the bigger problem too is that there's this need for people to create sides to say
Mhm.
that. And I think even you and I at the beginning, like when I was talking about being in a group of people and recognizing that my viewpoints were different, there's almost like this um, inherent side creation, but it's not about, there's so much. You said there's more of us and more of them. I think that was one of
Mhm.
the things too, but I
Sure.
think there are also more people in general on whatever side, for
Mhm.
lack of a better word, that believe in common humanity, that believe in things,
Yeah.
but there are some huge forces out there trying to create division, and it's working,
Yep.
and it has worked.
Yep.
So to the extent that we can continue to exercise compassion and exercise our values in responsible ways, I don't know, I'm still this like naive optimist that change can happen.
I'm with you, and I will proudly wave my naive, optimistic flag daily,
Hmm.
multiple
Hmm.
times a day, because change happens when those of us that show up and believe that something different is possible show up to do the work,
And do the
right?
thing.
And do the
Yeah.
thing.
And we have to do the uncomfortable things too, right? So it's
Oh,
not,
absolutely.
naive optimism doesn't necessarily mean stupidity, right? It just means, well, if you lose hope, then you will stop,
Yep.
have hope, and continue to act. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, one of the reasons that I believe so wholeheartedly in test is because what I'm saying is that those of us that have hope and believe in the humanity of every individual, we need to be deeply, profoundly resourced so that we can make the change. And if we focus just on all the negativity in the world, on all the horrific stories coming out of this administration, all the ways that they're trying to destroy the rule of law, like if we focus on that, we stop being able to do our good works in the world.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right? And when we show up and we coach a client, whether it's me with money or you with your career coaching, that's our good work in the world. We're having a ripple effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for that period between January when the inauguration happened and my profit is protest, I stopped doing my good work in the world. I mean, I did just what needed to get done to be in integrity with my commitments, but I couldn't in those moments because I felt so uninspired. What's the opposite of optimistic?
Pessimistic.
Pessimistic. Thank you. Like the word was totally escaping me. So pessimistic uh, that I didn't have any creative spark in me. There was no hope, no joy, which meant there was no power.
Mm. Mm.
Now, one of the things that I encourage anybody who is like willing to look at their money and their values and kind of apply profit as protest to it is discernment. Like, I'm not a fan of Meta. I'm actually not a fan of any of the social media
Social
platforms,
media. Yeah.
right? They all have problematic issues. right? Including the one we're on right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm not going to cut my nose off to spite my face,
Yeah.
right? I could go off all social media as part of my protest and limit my ability to reach more people. So I have to
Yeah.
decide in this moment what currently is more important to me.
Yeah. And I just went to a coaching event where
Mhm.
the topic was community building. And there was a panel of speakers who have successfully built communities. And there are different ways to do that. Like one was 100% completely anti-social media, and his method, and he's a very successful person in the coaching world. But he's all about word of mouth.
Mhm.
Whereas others obviously still use Facebook groups and other online
Yep.
media in order to do that. And yeah, like whatever is most effective. And if you believe that you've got a message worth sharing, you've got to find the media that's going to attract the people.
Yep.
And for you, it looks like Substack is one of those, right?
Yeah. I love Substack. I love all the reading I get to do. I meet incredible people. So there's been a couple comments in the chat that I love and want to highlight for anybody who's watching this on replay, because I don't know, the chat doesn't show up there, right? So there is a Substack called Cut Off the Spigot. Bex introduced me to it, and they mentioned it here in the chat. They do incredible research on, like, okay, if your value alignment says no more Google, here are your Google alternatives that
Mhm.
are doing good works in the world. And it's really, really fantastic. I have to agree. I love that Liz Lawless has a family motto. Lawlesses do what's hard joyfully.
Say that again.
So her last name is Lawless.
Hmm.
So the family motto, Lawlesses do what's hard joyfully.
Okay.
So they do the
Okay.
hard thing, but they do it with joy.
Hmm.
Uh,
I love the fact that they have a family motto, like
I
to have
know,
an
right?
anchor that you can like return to, and whenever something happens, you can say to your kids, "Remember, lawlesses do the hard things joyfully." Like
Yeah.
it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fantasy novel I love, and the main character's family motto is "Loyalty is our strength,"
Mm, okay.
um, and which is beautiful, and also gets him in trouble, right?
Definitely, definitely.
But there is
Yeah.
something about that, having a family motto that kind of goes with, think 14th century coat of arms, right? It
Yeah.
became this
Yeah.
overarching umbrella as to what they believed. And that is how I'm holding Profit as Protest. I'm trying to filter everything in my business through that filter. So I will have to think of a Woods family motto and see if I can get the whole family on board. But for now, in Shayna's world, the motto is Profit is Protest.
Oh, the Woods can believe that profit is protest as well. I mean, um, it is, that's now you're talking legacy, right?
Yep.
So you're building a thing that will, and an idea that, um, so I was going to say an idea that might not necessarily be 100% uniquely yours, but you've created this unique angle for it, right? And so I find I'm approaching 60, right? And without having my parents around anymore, I've found as I've gotten older that there's so many unanswered questions. And for your um, posterity to be able to look back and say, here's this idea that Shayna created, here's what Shayna believed long after you're gone. And I hope this isn't too morbid or anything, but there's just something about having a real legacy to leave that matters. Am I disconnected?